So yesterday, it was announced that Lucy Letby is currently applying for leave to appeal. In this video, I'm going to run you through a very short article explaining exactly what took place yesterday. And then I'll be sharing some of my own thoughts on what this means concerning Lucy Letby's appeal process. Lucy Letby has formally lodged a bid to challenge her convictions at the Court of Appeal, officials have confirmed. Court staff said on Friday they had received an application for permission to appeal against all of the nurses' convictions. Typically, applications for permission to appeal against a Crown Court decision are considered by a judge without a hearing. If this is refused, people have the right to renew their bid for permission at a full court hearing before 2 or 3 judges. Okay, so let's just cut in here and break this down because I've seen a lot of discussion already, particularly in my comment section. What do you think about Lucy Letby appealing and this, that and the other and what's going to happen? Like, we're so far away from that, it's not even worth discussing at this point. Really, what is taking place here is that she has asked permission. This is simply an application for permission to appeal. This isn't her appeal gaining steam and in a couple of months she's going to be back in court. No. That's not what's happening here. And also think about this from Lucy Letby's perspective. Of course, she's going to lodge some kind of appeal. What does she have to lose? It's not as if they could tag any more time onto her never-ending infinite sentence. So she's obviously going to appeal, regardless of whether she's innocent or guilty or whatever. Clearly, she was always going to appeal. But what's important to remember is that we're not at the stage where in 2 or 3 months' time, Lucy Letby is going to be back in court and the trial's going to be all started over again. That's not going to take place. This is simply the very first step. Her appeal hasn't even been considered at this point. Her appeal hasn't even been accepted at this point. This is simply an application for permission to appeal. So remember that. This is not the appeal itself. This isn't the appeal gaining steam and within a couple of months we're going to start this process all over again. No, that's not what's happening here. This is an application for permission to appeal, not the actual appeal being accepted itself. So to discuss exactly what this means, or to give you a little bit more context as to where Lucy Letby stands at this point in time, there's been a post put out online by a barrister, and I'm going to read it to you just to give you a little bit more of an insight in terms of what is taking place here. And it states the following. So she's currently applying for permission or leave to appeal. If granted, then she can appeal. So again, it's clarifying. She hasn't had this appeal accepted. There's no point in saying she's had this appeal accepted, great, she's going to be back in court. That is so far away from where we are at this point in time. It's not even worth considering. So again, she's currently applying for permission or leave to appeal. If granted, then she can appeal. If she is denied permission by a single judge, she has 14 days to notify the registrar that she intends to seek permission from a full court, a panel of 2 or 3 judges. All applications for leave, together with any ancillary applications, are normally considered by a single judge on the papers, unless it can be demonstrated that there are exceptional reasons why an oral hearing is required. Representatives may request an oral hearing which must be supported by written reasons as to why the case is exceptional and any reasons why that hearing should be expedited. The application should be copied to the prosecution. The single judge determining the substantive application will then decide whether an oral hearing should be arranged. Now, moving into the realm of pure speculation just for one moment, this barrister was asked a question, well, what could this appeal contain? And bearing in mind, we will find out at some point in time, as the weeks and months roll on, we will find out what is in Lucy Letby's appeal. But their reply was quite interesting. They state the following. As she's appealing all her convictions, it's actually quite hard to say. If it was new evidence or procedural irregularity of some sort that didn't impact the whole trial, evidence being deemed inadmissible would fall into that category, then only the convictions associated would have a case for appeal. I imagine it's a legal error or a more wide procedural irregularity, but even then it depends on how the appeal was filed. So do keep in mind that this is just one person's opinion here, this barrister's interpretation of what may be included in this actual appeal. But what stood out to me was where it stated the following here, or where they stated the following. If it was new evidence or procedural irregularity of some sort that didn't impact the whole trial, then only the convictions associated would have a case for appeal. What I gather from that, and again, I may have this right, I may have this wrong, but what I gather from that is that if it was just, for instance, one case where they'd found some medical evidence for the defence which disputed the prosecution's case, only that case would be able to be brought to appeal. But it looks like here that Lucy Letby is appealing all of her convictions. So then they went on to state, I imagine it's a legal error or a more wide procedural irregularity, but even then it depends on how the appeal was filed. So anyway, in the weeks and months to follow, I'm sure that we will find out the grounds for Lucy Letby's appeal, but at this point in time, we simply do not have that information. What is imperative to remember though, is that this isn't a signal of Lucy Letby being in court in the next few months and challenging these convictions. That is not where we're at this point. This is simply Lucy Letby applying for permission or leave to appeal. If granted, then she can appeal. We're not at the appeal process and everything's being considered and she's going to be back in court and this, that and the other and there's this massive miscarriage of justice. We're not there yet. This is the very start of the road for Lucy Letby's appeal process. As always, many thanks for joining me for this video. If you are new to the channel, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe down below for future content regarding this case. And very shortly, you'll be able to see the Lucy Letby playlist, which has all of the videos that I've created regarding the trial and the case of Lucy Letby, all in one convenient folder. Many thanks for joining me for this video. I look forward to seeing you all again for the next one. Take care. Cheers.